I had a couple who asked me to hold off on clearing their table until the man had licked every plate clean. They shared several appetizers and main dishes, and he made sure to lick every plate completely before I was allowed to take it away. This wasn't a private booth either. Other patrons could clearly see what was going on. Honestly, the strangest thing that happened while I was working as a server at a restaurant in the Royal Hawaiian was when a guest asked me to book him a shark adventure tour. This had nothing to do with my role or the hotel, as those tours were run by a separate business. I took his black card, went to guest services, picked up a pamphlet, and booked the tour for him. He tipped me $250, which made it totally worth it. Guacamole without avocados. That was the inspiration behind my name. She was completely serious about it too. I used to work at Olive Garden. There was a woman who came in at least once a week and was nicknamed Pepperoncini Lady by us staff. She wanted us to open a new bag of pepperoncinis used for the salads, pour the juice into a cup, and she would actually drink it straight. She'd also get a bowl of pepperoncinis and eat them all. Years ago, as I was leaving a restaurant, I saw a guy sitting at the counter pouring ketchup into his Sprite, straight from the glass Heinz bottle. He looked around to check if anyone was watching and then started to pour it in. House salad, ... Hold the lettuce and all the other vegetables. Add extra croutons, cheese, and dressing. Essentially, just a plate of croutons, cheese, and dressing. Chicken is vegetarian. A woman ordered pizza with chicken for the table. The rest of the group argued that they were vegetarians. She insisted that she could have chicken on her own pizza. She kept claiming that chicken is vegetarian and wouldn't understand that her friends wanted a vegetarian dish. I once had a woman order a glass of red wine with a side of creamer. I didn't think much of it at first, but when I brought it to her, she poured the cream into the wine. I commented that I'd never seen anyone do that before, and she told me, "You've got to try it." I declined. Years ago, I worked at an amazing Breton French creperie in San Francisco with a small menu, but amazing food. A guy came in and ordered a sweet crepe with vanilla ice cream. No problem. Then he wanted to add a sunny side-up egg and parsley to it. I asked him multiple times if he was sure he wanted that, especially since it wasn't two separate crepes. He assured me. When I placed the order, the kitchen thought I made a mistake, but I told them it was intentional. I brought out the crepe, and he devoured it. Vanilla ice cream with a sunny side-up egg on top. Weird. I once had a couple bring their own tea set to the restaurant. The man asked me if I had a few minutes to learn something. They were the second table to be seated, so I indulged him. He taught me a specific way to steep and pour tea over a sugar cube, and I practiced it a few times with just water. It was actually kind of interesting. He then asked if I would serve them their tea that exact way. They were kind, though the man had an intense aura. I followed his instructions to the letter, filling the teapot with hot water and serving them the tea as he showed me. He seemed pleased, but didn't say anything or even look at me. I refilled their tea once and was asked to keep his wife's water glass full at all times. When I refilled her water and asked if they needed more tea, the man handed me $20 and dismissed me. He did this twice more that afternoon. At the end, I thought they didn't tip, but then my manager handed me an envelope with $100, a business card, and a handwritten thank you note. They only wanted to come in when I was working. It was odd because after the lesson, they acted as if I was invisible. But their tips were generous, and I treated them like VIPs each time. I had a regular who would eat an entree-sized portion of pepperoncinis for lunch. Nothing else, just pepperoncinis and some soda water. He'd take a bite and then pour the juice into his soda. He ate about 40 to 50 each time. Once, a very thin, middle-aged woman came in, weighing no more than 100 pounds, soaking wet. She asked for the biggest steak we had, so I told her it was a 24-ounce ribeye. She said, "Okay, I'll have that." Our steaks came with two sides, so I asked what sides she wanted. She declined, even though they were included. I brought her the steak, and as she was about a third through, I asked how everything was. She said, "Great. Bring me another steak." I asked if something was wrong with the first one, and she said no. She just wanted a second one. I went back to the chef, who was amazed, but we served her another steak. She finished all 48 ounces of steak and left me a $40 tip. A guy ordered spaghetti, and after finishing it, he complained that it tasted like cinnamon. I told the owner, who's Greek, and he yelled saying, "That's the secret ingredient," and he ate it all. So I told him he couldn't get a refund because he cleaned his plate and had eaten our secret ingredient. I once worked at a Japanese restaurant where a customer asked me if we had low-sodium soy sauce. That wasn't the odd part. It was what he did with it. He poured some of the soy sauce into his Pepsi. Academy Award nominee, Hollywood Walk of Fame star, and father of Jamie Lee Curtis, actor Tony Curtis. He was the most unpleasant person I ever had the misfortune of serving. He stayed at the resort where I worked, so I had to serve him several times that week. He was incredibly smug and condescending, repeatedly saying, "This isn't what I ordered," even though we had read back his order and confirmed it. At one point, he ordered a hamburger and wanted it rare. The chef cooked it, but when I brought it to him, he said it was overcooked and sent it back. The chef made another rare burger, but Curtis sent that one back too. Now frustrated, the chef made a barely cooked patty and barely seared it with a torch, keeping it ice cold in the center. Curtis loved it, claiming it was the best burger ever, though he still complained about the wait. I'll never forget the chef's comment. If that's what he wanted, he should have ordered a tartare à la retour. Why is it so hard for people to learn the name of the weird food they want? Tony Curtis is long gone, and honestly, I don't miss him. A man told me he couldn't eat anything that had been ground up at any point. So for example, he wouldn't touch anything with flour. Not because of the gluten, but because it had been made small at one stage. My guy, that's not a thing. A man once soiled himself at a booth and asked for a tablecloth so he could walk out wrapped in it. I still serve him, and this happened about 15 years ago. No shame at all. He still comes in once a week. We never asked for the tablecloth back. A middle-aged woman insisted she didn't like soda water or sparkling water, so she asked for a white wine spritzer without the wine. The two ingredients in a white wine spritzer are white wine and soda water. Two men came in, looking like they were from the CIA. The shorter one ordered 4 fried chickens and a Coke, while the taller one just ordered plain white toast. I worked at a family restaurant where we had a regular we called the iced tea guy. He would order a meal with iced tea, which was refillable. After finishing his meal, he would sit for hours, continuously asking for more iced tea refills. He also asked for permission to go to the restroom, and if you said no, he'd give you $5. I now think it was some sort of kink or domination thing. Eventually, he was banned after a strange incident. One day, iced tea guy asked me to choose a piece of pie for him to eat with his hands, but he wanted to wear shoes on his hands. He took a pair of Mary Jane shoes out of his backpack, put them on his hands, and ate a piece of Dutch apple pie a la mode, with his hands in the shoes. He was never allowed back after that, and I never saw him again. A woman ordered a chili dog, but asked for chicken noodle soup instead of the chili. After taking a bite, she said, "Oh, I made a mistake. We had a woman send back a grilled chicken salad because it was cold. We cooked new chicken and sent it back warm, but she sent it back again, saying the entire salad wasn't hot enough. We microwaved it and sent it back. She ate it, though I still don't get it. A customer ordered a steak boiled in milk with a side of jelly beans. I vowed never to work in Philadelphia again. At a salad bar, a woman placed lettuce on her plate and covered it in ice. She tried to eat it by stabbing the ice with her fork like it was croutons. No one else seemed to notice. She was chatting with the staff like it was normal. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. A woman ordered an Atkins-style grilled cheese. This was back in the early 2000s. My boss told me to microwave 3 slices of cheese and charge her $8 for it. She was thrilled. A lady once asked for her chicken to be cooked medium rare. I explained that we couldn't do that, and she replied, "But other restaurants do it for me." I told her to go to those other places then. I wasn't risking a lawsuit. We had small water cups at the table, which we would keep filled for customers. I sat a party of 2 women who were waiting for a third person. When I went to fill their water cups, I asked if I should wait for the third person. One woman said, "No, he's trying to quit." I thought it was a joke, but when the third person, a man, arrived, he told me, "No, don't fill it. I'm trying to quit water." One time, a man ordered a large garden salad, looked me dead in the eyes, and seriously said, "No purple in it." I just agreed without any follow-up questions. I nervously picked out everything purple and watched him go through it. He was satisfied enough and left a decent tip. Now, I can't unsee purple things in my salad, but I still eat them. I worked at Bob Evans 20 years ago, and we had a few regulars with some odd habits. Parsley Lady would order a glass of milk and a large bowl of parsley and eat it without any dressing. Apple Pie Lady wanted her pie microwaved for 7 minutes instead of 1.5 to make it hot enough. Fan Lady would come in every Sunday and demand the fans be slowed down, claiming she had a medical condition. That stopped when a manager with a similar condition insisted the fans stay on normal speed. Deep fried bacon guy was just a regular, but it turns out deep fried bacon is delicious.